You are going to click subscribe and then notifications, right? It's worth it, right, Martin?
Yes.
This is Martin Campbell. He helps me shoot these. So if you subscribe, I can pay him.
The letter C, usually it means average, the kind of grades I got as a high school student, but when these numbers and letters are applied, this pupil gets a star. Mercedes Benz AMG C63 certainly has brains, but where it really shines is athletics.
Maybe you're thinking, Tom, I'm not really into coupes, so I think I'll bail on this video. But wait, there's still good information to be had because the C43 is also available as a convertible and a four-door sedan. So if you're cross-shopping, and at this price point you really should, you'd be looking at things like the BMW 3 and 4 Series and Audi S4 and S5.
Cadillac has the CT4V sedan coming too, if you're not in a hurry to be in a hurry. The lines on any C-Class are drawn with elegance. I'm a fan of design that uses minimal lines. And since the C, E, and S-Class tend to look similar, just in different sizes, a reminder that C-Class gets one DRL strip, the E has two, and the S, anyone? Yeah, it gets three. Under the long nose, you'll find more motivation for 2019. Massaged by AMG and trimmed out to impress a Sith Lord, the twin-turbo 3-liter V6 pumps out 385 horsepower. Peak torque of 384 pound-feet happens from 2,500 to 5,000 RPM. Prefer to row your own gears? Sorry, not on this car. If it's any consolation, the 9-speed Sport Automatic is plenty snappy. Drive modes let drivers tailor the experience right down to the exhaust note and adjustable suspension. And you know that 4MATIC is Mercedes speak for all-wheel drive, right? Here it performs with a rear axle bias. Oh, and when getting into the coupe, it very graciously encourages you to be safe out there. No reaching way back.
Now, if you feel like you really need the extra power, there is the C63 that has a V8 stuffed under the hood, but really, the 43 should do it for most people. I mean, it rockets up to 60 miles an hour in an easy 4.5 seconds. I think Car and Driver did 4.1.
The top speed is electronically limited to 130 miles an hour in case you need to go faster than that. But get up early on a Sunday morning to have curvy country roads all to yourself, and the 43 shows you something just as good as velocity: balance. You'd expect AMG products to be top of the class. Owners won't be disappointed.
I really like the steering on the C43. It's very natural, great turn in. It's the kind of steering that sort of creeps up on you and all of a sudden you realize, wow, this is terrific.
The steering weight builds with speed. It always seems to be just right. And after a while, I stopped using the paddle shifters since the computer is letter perfect in anticipating the right ratio.
If you think this has a luxurious ride because it's a Mercedes, well, no, it's pretty firm. Even in the comfort modes, and throw it into any of the sport modes and it only gets worse. You feel every crack in the pavement. I don't even want to think about hitting a big pothole.
You'll be filling the tank with premium fuel, and while your mileage may vary, I saw 18 miles per gallon, but I was having fun and drove this coupe with gusto. There is automatic engine start-stop. I've had smoother experiences. There's always the off button.
For the most part, this car is pretty quiet until you put your foot into it. And then you really hear the engine, which is as it should be.
All sorts of information is available on the gauge cluster and main display. Optional AMG track pace looks at 80 variables like speed and acceleration and records them 10 times per second so drivers can analyze their track skills. It also measures 0 to 60 times in quarter-mile runs.
Brakes. People always forget how important brakes are in a high-performance car. These are quite good. So good, in fact, that the coffee that I had in the rear cup holder is now all over the floor.
Time to go get more. I think I'll take the scenic route. I have always been a fan of the C-Class interior and would buy one just to gaze upon the cabin. The atmosphere is strong and solid. The materials look rich, the vents feel silky, small things like removable liners make a difference. The bolstering on the seats will hold aggressive drivers in place, but manage to fit a wide variety of body types. They're heated and vented, and visibility all around is quite good.
This car does not have the latest Mercedes-Benz user interface called MBUX, so if you say, "Hey Mercedes," nothing happens.
What you get is a very crisp, clear screen that is not touch sensitive. There's a lot to wade through. The menus are pretty deep. You'll be using this to get through the many screens. Fortunately, there are a good amount of hard buttons that work the commonly used stuff. There are also tiny little trackpads that work better than you might imagine. They control the cluster, which can be customized. The C63 can be set up just about any way you want.
In back, there are only belts for two. The only additional passenger along for the ride here will be the beverage of your choice. I'm 5'9". My head is just grazing the headliner. A reminder, this is also available as a more practical stand. Leg and footroom aren't stretch out spacious, but they're okay for a coupe.
A power port is good to have. Don't think I'd let people smoke in a car this expensive, and these cubbies could be handy for small things.
As a rule, coupes are not very practical. At least this one is polite and accommodating.
Nice that there are remote releases, but you either have to reach way in or run around to the back seat to drop them. And maybe it's because I carry a tripod, but I really like 40-20-40 split seats to haul long things. There's storage under here and a tire repair kit, but no spare. Typically, coupes don't have massive boots, and as expected, this one is on the smaller side. There's always the GLC crossover, also available in AMG trim if you need to tote more than 4 packs of TP. And I'll point out that even with powered mechanisms, many fobs are able to open the deck lid, but not close it. This is something that's very useful, especially if you use the trunk a lot, like I do. So, what's all this going to cost? Well, it's a Mercedes and an AMG, so the base price of $58,445 is not unexpected, but optioned with performance exhaust, exterior carbon fiber package, and performance studio package, the price of this one quickly rises to $75,000 large, so you're paying for the privilege to look good and go fast. The suspension and price can be stiff, but whether it's the coupe, sedan, or convertible, the AMG C43 is grade A style and performance. Okay, I'm aggressively asking for more subscribers because I go through a certain amount of trouble to shoot these. Might as well get people to watch them. For example, things occasionally go sideways, and there was a fair amount of weirdness during this production. The kick-to-open tailgate worked when I wasn't shooting it, but it was camera shy.
Is polite and accommodating when this works. Wow, all of a sudden it's very busy here.
Every time I tried anything on camera, it seemed like noise followed me.
Planes.
Or I forgot to turn on my mic. Nearly locked myself out of the car.
You gotta be kidding me, man. Come on.
Doors closing when they shouldn't.
Hey, folks.
And there were tons of bike riders to keep out of the video in the Carnation area, even though we started production at 7 a.m. And finally, the drone. If there weren't bugs flying in front of my shot, there were cars that Martin Campbell couldn't shake. He stopped up the road and tried waving this person around, but they refused to pass. And then it just wigged out for no reason. It ended up between a barn and 10 feet of dense northwest blackberry bushes with thorns the size of fingernails. The property owners gave us clippers, thank you very much, and a broom handle to get at it. It took an hour. These things come up. Usually not all together, though.
Ah, you've stuck around to the very end. I must be doing something right. So click subscribe and then notifications so you never miss these reviews. And special thanks to Martin Campbell and Rob Calero, two guys who get up very early on Saturday mornings to help me shoot these videos. Couldn't do it without them. Really, this is all about passion. It's not a lucrative operation. These are the videos that I always wanted to see. Good photography, information, not too long because I don't want to waste your time. Speaking of, I don't want to waste your time. So I am out of here. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.